Today we'll be discussing why biodiesel is the best sustainable fuel source. According to the Office of Energy and Efficiency and Renewable Energy, biodiesel is a clean-burning, domestically produced petroleum-based fuel primarily used for transportation. For vehicles specifically, it increases energy security. It is produced from vegetable oils, animal fats, and tree acidification, which is a process that converts fat and oils into biodiesel and glycerin, which is a co-product of it. It also produces 93% more usable energy compared to the fossil fuel energy needed for its production. And this chart from Purdue Diversified Farming and Food System website, it shows the biodiesel cycle and how it just continues.
One of biodiesel's main uses is in transportation. Diesel engines can use many types of blends of biodiesel without modification. Biodiesel raises the cetane number of the fuel while also improving fuel lubricity. The higher fuel cetane number means that it's easier for the engine to start, and improved lubricity reduces friction within moving parts and therefore reduces additional wear. B20 or 20% biodiesel is more commonly used since it's a good combination of cost, emissions, cold weather performance, and materials compatibility.
When considering using biodiesel as a major sustainable fuel and energy source, we have to consider some environmental benefits and limitations. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, biodiesel is carbon neutral, which means when carbon is released when harvesting plants for the oil, the newly planted plants intake the released carbon, which actually zeroes out the carbon levels. The use of biodiesel also reduces smog, which saves lives and environments. And when biodiesel is made from recycled oils, such as vegetable oils, it prevents harmful materials and chemicals from re-entering the environment. For example, I bet a lot of people in this room didn't know that there's actually a pickup and recycling cooking oil company in Indianapolis called Mahoney Environmental Restaurant Cooking Oil Recycling, which will pick up your used oil and recycle it for fuel. While there are many environmental benefits from using biodiesel as a major fuel source, there are also some limitations. In an article from ABC, they include findings from researchers that state that biodiesel may actually increase global warming levels due to the land being cleared to harvest crops at such a magnitude. But this can be prevented by harvesting harmful green algae blooms instead from big lakes such as Lake Erie, which in return will benefit the organisms by protecting them from the excessive algae. Also, according to Conserve Energy Future website, biodiesel actually gels up in colder weather, but by altering the fat contents or adding regular diesel, this is prevented. And finally, biodiesel requires the use of monoculturing, for example, in plants like corn and soybean. But not only will this use of monoculturing eliminate soil erosion, but crops can actually be used semi-seasonally to fix the soil as they are rotated.
For the economics of biodiesel, it is less expensive than fossil fuels. The cost of production is around the same as petroleum due to the federal low sulfur diesel fuel standards, but the slightly increased price compared to diesel is subsidized. However, according to a study in 2019, biodiesel is cheaper than unleaded gasoline. Further, biodiesel cost decreases as fossil fuels increase, meaning as biodiesel becomes more abundant, fossil fuels become less, and the cost will continue to decrease. Biodiesel is also approved in non-tactical military vehicles. According to the American Security Project, this industry also provides direct employment for over 61,900 workers and produces paid wages and benefits totaling $3.8 billion. Biodiesel also reduces greenhouse gas emissions, which is important because nearly 8 million people worldwide die from poor air quality. Additionally, it reduces cancer risk, premature death, and respiratory issues. Since it is very versatile, it can be produced domestically, which supports U.S. farmers and jobs and makes us less vulnerable to supply distributions.
So I know what you're thinking. The money to start up a biodiesel plant or to harvest it is expensive, and the benefits are similar to every other biofuel source. But biodiesel is actually the most supported biofuel by the U.S. government, meaning they offer incentives that Kanan is now going to discuss.
A biodiesel blender that is registered with the IRS may be eligible for a tax incentive in the amount of $1 per gallon of pure biodiesel. According to Alternative Fuels Data Center, the Biomass Crop Assistance Program provides financial assistance to landowners and operators that establish, produce, and deliver biomass feedstock crops for advanced biofuel production facilities. Eligible new facilities may receive up to 50% of total eligible project costs, or $3 million, whichever is less.
Now let's get into the specifics with a little bit of quick math. So for example, silvergrass is the leading biodiesel production crop, and it is found primarily in Indonesia, which is the leading biodiesel producing country. An acre of land in Indonesia is $500, and an acre can also produce roughly 742 gallons of biodiesel. So this being said, If a gallon of biodiesel is usually sold for $2.36, you can make roughly $1,752 in revenue from that 1 acre of land. So hypothetically, I know what you're thinking. By the time you do production costs and all this, you're not going to have a lot of revenue left. But due to the government incentives that were mentioned earlier, you're actually receiving back a lot of the production costs that you already put into it. And for example, where countries where the land isn't as cheap versus US, you can also harvest biodiesel for lots of other methods of harvesting. So for example, through algae in lakes, and through corn and soybean production. So the opportunities are really endless.
We are asking for a $150 million investment for 6% equity.
We ask for that amount because assuming 10 sharks put in $140 million, if we divide that by the cost of land, which is $500, we'd receive back 2,800,000 acres. And if you multiply that times the $1,752, which is the revenue per acre, not including cost, you'd receive back $4,905,600,000. And then if you multiply that times the 6% equity each shark has invested, the total for each shark individually would be $294,336,000, making this a very worthwhile investment.